In the eerie world of night visions, some secrets refuse to stay buried even in silence. Sandra, a deaf courtroom artist, begins hearing the unspoken thoughts of Detective Malone, a witness in a murder trial. Sandra took a chance on an experimental surgery to restore her hearing, but the world she re-entered was not the one she left behind. Her newfound ability to hear unveils a singular and harrowing truth, the unspoken thoughts of one man. A voice not meant for her ears, an echo born of guilt, begins to poison her fragile connection to her surroundings. What follows is a story of isolation, dread, and the suffocating weight of another's conscience. As she unravels the detective's deep guilt over his brother's death, she faces an unsettling choice. Should she confront him about what she knows, or let things play out on their own? Voices explores the haunting connection between guilt, empathy, and the power of unsaid words. The morality of Sandra's decision, whether to confront Malone or remain silent, presents a nuanced ethical dilemma that touches on several core areas of moral psychology. The story can be examined through the lens of both deontological or duty-based ethics and consequentialism, or outcome-based ethics, with the tension between these theories revealing the complexity of moral judgment. From a deontological perspective, Sandra may feel a moral duty to confront Malone, particularly if she believes that justice requires it. In this case, her decision would be based on a universal moral rule that dictates truth-telling or intervention when faced with wrongdoing. Kant's theory suggests that individuals must act in accordance with moral duties, regardless of the consequences. Sandra's dilemma could revolve around whether she is ethically obligated to act on the knowledge she gains about Malone's guilt, regardless of the emotional or psychological toll it may take on him. If she adheres strictly to moral duty, she may feel compelled to expose the truth to maintain ethical integrity, even if doing so risks damaging Malone's emotional well-being or disrupting the trial. From a consequentialist standpoint, Sandra's decision to confront or remain silent depends on her evaluation of the potential outcomes. If revealing Malone's guilt leads to justice being served for the murder of his brother, Sandra may feel justified in speaking up. However, she may also weigh the emotional impact of her intervention, how it might affect Malone's life and mental state. In this view, the ends justify the means. If confronting Malone helps him face his own guilt and take responsibility, then it is morally acceptable. However, the negative psychological effects of confrontation could make Sandra reconsider, as the cost of such an action may outweigh the perceived benefit of achieving justice. Sandra's empathy plays a crucial role in her moral reasoning. Psychologically, empathy is a strong motivator for action. The deeper her emotional connection to Malone's inner turmoil, the harder it becomes for Sandra to detach from her feelings and make a decision based purely on moral rules. Sandra might choose to remain silent, not because she doesn't care about the truth, but because she identifies with Malone's suffering, feeling that confronting him would further exacerbate his guilt and distress. From a psychological perspective, this dynamic demonstrates how empathy can cloud moral judgment, particularly when the outcome involves an emotional or personal component. Sandra's decision may also reflect her stage in moral development. If she is in a post-conventional stage of moral reasoning, as outlined by Lawrence Kohlberg, she may question whether adhering to external moral norms such as duty is more important than considering the broader consequences for Malone's emotional well-being. At this stage, she might move beyond the black and white moral rules of duty and consider more nuanced, situational factors, such as the nature of the relationship between truth and personal suffering. Cognitive dissonance could also be a significant psychological factor here. Sandra may experience discomfort due to the inconsistency between her empathy towards Malone and her awareness of his wrongdoing. Her choice to either confront or not confront could be an attempt to resolve this tension, seeking internal coherence between her empathy and her sense of moral responsibility. Sandra's internal struggle reflects the psychological concept of moral agency, the ability to make moral decisions based on personal judgment. Her dilemma illustrates how moral agency often involves not just rational calculations about right and wrong, but a psychological process of negotiation between competing moral values. In choosing whether to confront Malone, Sandra's agency is tested not only by her capacity for empathy, but by her responsibility to enact moral decisions in real-world contexts, where the emotional consequences cannot always be neatly separated from the logical ones. Sandra's moral choice is a reflection of the complexity of human nature, where conflicting emotions, ethical reasoning, and self-awareness converge. Her choice between confronting Malone or remaining silent is not just a reflection of the consequences she faces, but also of the ongoing internal dialogue between her moral self and the external world of moral expectations and social consequences. As the whispers fade and the truth retreats into the shadows, Night Visions leaves us with the haunting question: how much do we really want to know about the people around us? In Voices, the gift of sound becomes a curse, and the walls between perception and reality crumble in the most terrifying way. Sometimes, silence isn't just golden, it's survival. Thanks for tuning in to Spooky Jacqueline, where we turn up the volume on the eerie and unsettling. Don't forget to like, comment, check out my Etsy shop, and subscribe to keep the chills coming. And until next time, stay curious, but not too curious. Some truths are better left unheard. Watch this video next.